People have been asking me this for years. How much should I charge to speak? And so what I'm going to just be breaking down is probably some advice that some people don't share. A lot of people share things like know your worth, right? Know your worth. Don't charge less than your worth, and all of that. So I'm gonna cover some things today. But my goal, tell you really really quick, my goal is to make sure that first of all you know how to get paid, because it's one thing to say like charge your worth, but I mean let's be honest, and I'll keep it a bug with you saying it straight up front. You'll never ever be charged your worth. You never will. So the goal is to try to get as close as you can over time. Some people try to jump in. And as soon as they start speaking, they want to be making the type of money that they see other people make. And so the question, how much should I charge to speak, is got so many different answers, right? Doctor Strange sees all of the answers, like so many different scenarios in which you should charge a little bit, which you should charge a lot. Because I'll tell you right now, I just accepted an engagement where I'm not getting paid at all. And some speakers, they get paid, that make lots of money. Like, oh, I never negotiate my fee. Maybe they don't. I don't know, their business, but I know a lot of speakers that do, depending on the audience. And so the question, how much should you charge? I want to tackle it from a couple of different ways. First, if you're just starting, you can't charge that much if you're just starting. And here's why: because you don't know what's a lot and what's not. You just don't know. And I'll put this caveat on it too. Most people that get started in the speaking business, speaking is like their side job. And so it's not something that they're feeding their family, or their family is depending on that money for. And so again, that's why it depends on who you ask or what you're talking about. But you can't, it's like a rookie coming into the league. The NFL draft just came through and says, okay, I'm a quarterback. I see what Aaron Rodgers is getting paid. I know my worth. I should be getting paid what he's paid. No, you shouldn't. No, you shouldn't. And so starting out, you've got to look at it this way. First and foremost, why are you speaking and where's the money going? Do you need the money? Because I'm going to tell you this from experience. If you come into speaking and you need the money, like the money that other people are going to pay you or the events or whatnot, if you need the money, then what you charge it needs to go down so you can have more opportunities. It needs to be lower if you need it. I know that might sound kind of crazy, but that's where most people are. That's just the truth. Now, if you don't need it, if you're an attorney, if you're a doctor, if you're somebody who's already making, you have a sustainable income and you don't need it, then you can be a little less flexible, right, on that fee. Here's what I tell the people that I coach, especially in the college space. When you're starting out, at the minimum, you should be charging $1,500 a speech. At the minimum, you should be charging $1,500 a speech. Now, after people get done with my coaching, I encourage them to say $2,500, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. But at the minimum, $1,500. But you cannot come out the gate and saying, how much did that person pay? Or have you ever seen this? You ever tried this? Somebody that you see speaking and it's like, yo, they really weren't that good. And then you find out how much they made and you're like, well, shoot, I can do that too. You can't. Again, to use the sports analogy, that's like a young buck, a young rookie coming into the game and saying, this backup quarterback isn't as good as me, so I should make more money than them. We don't know yet. You could be right, but you also could be wrong. And here's the other thing. How are you marketing yourself? Most people, again, when they first get started, they don't know the landscape of the industry that they're trying to speak in. Most people, if you do know the landscape, then you're an anomaly. If you do know the ins and outs where the money is, then you're an anomaly. If you join up with my coaching program, then you become an anomaly in the college market. But most people, when they jump in, they don't know. Like, they have no idea what's a lot and what's not. And so your marketing, what that looks like is you have to be laser specific about who you're speaking to, right? Who you're speaking to. What problem are you trying to solve for them? And what do they normally pay, or what are they willing to pay to solve that problem? That's probably a better question, or a deeper question, than like, what problem are they solving? The problem is, yeah, you should be a problem solver for sure. But the deeper question is, how much are they currently paying to solve said problem? And so your marketing has to be focused around a problem that's being solved, or that a solution. And I'll give you an example. Right now, we still have the cloud of the Rona hanging around, right? So people, especially in my space, as far as colleges, they're trying to figure out how to better engage college students. Still, how to do that. So you've got to make sure that, okay, with this solving college, if I solve problems for students, check this out, in the industry, that's the college market. Colleges are they're educational companies. Their biggest revenue are the students. So if you can solve a problem for the biggest revenue producers in this company, that's a pretty high value problem you're solving, right? So just that part, you could be brand new, and I don't know anybody from it, but if you can solve a problem for the students, the greatest revenue generator for an educational corporation, aka college, if you can do that, then you can start talking about, all right, well, yeah, I can charge more, I can do more. And on the training, if you see this, whether you're looking at Instagram, or whether you're looking at this on Facebook or YouTube, or wherever you're looking at this, if you go to coachingwithodell.com, the not two Thursdays from tomorrow, so 2 weeks from tomorrow, I'm going to be hosting a free educational training. It's a training where I'm going to be teaching you exactly who to email, when to email them, and how to wrap what you have inside of a package that they want. And so that's going to be key as far as you making sure that you know how much to charge. Because I'll give you an example. Here's an event. Orientations. Tell speakers this all the time. If you want to get booked in the college market, you should try orientations, because a lot of colleges, thousands of colleges a year, are trying to pump their students up, motivate their students so that they have a good year. You think they're going to be wanting that this year? Of course, just like they wanted it last year. So if you can speak directly to that new student orientation director, or that assistant director, specifically to the problem, and you can be an orientation speaker, you can charge $2,500 off gate. But the marketing has to be right. Got to have some videos in there, got to have some things that they want to see. What's beautiful about the virtual space is that you can literally make your demo video with you and you alone. You can get on Zoom, you can splice things in from Instagram, you can, like, so many different things that you can do. So you can start that, and you need a simple website. Very simple. You don't need something really huge. And so I just wanted to share that with you all, because a lot of times people ask the wrong questions. They ask the wrong questions. Well, how much should I charge? I'm not going to charge less than what I'm worth. You're always going to charge less than you're worth. You always. But when you're first starting out, humble yourself and make sure that you're identifying a problem. And more than that, you're identifying a solution that people are already paying for. That's a good question, Kiana. Do you need a separate speaking website? I would say no. You don't need a separate speaking website. It can help depending on what exactly you're trying to push. If you're trying to push yourself as I am a speaker and that's what I do, then I would suggest to get a separate speaking website. But if you're trying to make it a part of what you do, like I'm a professional and I also do speaking to help solve said problem, then you don't necessarily need one. Just a link on your website would do. But that's a really, really good question. And here's the last thing that I'll say about knowing what to charge. You've got to think about it on the other side, right? So, and everybody says, there's actually somebody they shared this in my stories the other day. Cutco knives. Anybody, if you ever heard of Cutco, if you're on IG, if you're on Facebook, just put Cutco in the comments. If you've heard of Cutco, maybe you sold Cutco or something like that, just put it in the comments or something. But the gif or the meme in the story basically said, how many of y'all got tricked into selling Cutco? And I laughed. It was hilarious because I myself was a Cutco salesman. And so, and I remember this, I remember it. I remember a lot of the training. I remember a lot of it. Cutco knives are super expensive. Super expensive. They're crazy expensive. But I sold a little bit and I have some Cutco in my house. But here's the thing about Cutco knives. It does not cost that much to produce them. But they're the best knives that I've ever used in my life. Oh, Dale, of course you're saying that because they tricked you. Maybe they did. It's a good trick. Because when I go to my parents' house, when I go to my in-laws' house, and I try to use a knife that's not a Cutco knife, it ain't the same. Those knives cost a lot of money. They built a luxury brand of knives. Again, whether or not you agree with it, how they distribute them or not, those are some good knives. And so I wanted to end this by giving you this. If you're going to be a luxury type of speaker, like somebody that commands and demands a fee, like a high fee, you've got to be really, 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 really good. There's so many times clients of mine that have hired other people, that have hired famous people, that have hired celebrities, that have hired subject matter experts. They're like, they were good, but I don't know if they were worth $12,000 good, but they had a name. It's like, so I'm sitting here charging $5,000. Champagne problems, right? $5,000. It's like y'all paid that person almost triple, and I know I'm better. Like just because I'm a speaker. Like they're not a speaker. Maybe they're an actor, or maybe they're not, or whatnot. And so that's what you have to understand when you're wrapping it around your marketing. And I'll say it like this: celebrity. Become a celebrity. It doesn't mean that you have to be famous. Become a celebrity. Think of the word celebrate and the word celebrity. Become somebody who people celebrate in your space. Because then when you do that, they don't just celebrate you when you're there. They celebrate you when you're not. Your name is in rooms that you've never entered. And so you got to be really, really good, but you also have to have something different, a story, something attached to that. And I'm going to be talking about that on May 20th. I'm going to be sharing some really, really exclusive content with you. Go to coachingwithodell.com. Check it out. You can just look at the page and see if it's something. If you're on Instagram, you can go to the link in my bio. and check it out. But go to Coaching with Odell, hop on, and we're gonna have some really, really cool stuff for you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If I don't catch it while I'm live on here, I'll try to come back, circle back, and do it. But thanks so much for joining me on this evening rendition of Talking with Odell. See you at the top, not from the top. Peace.